had, yeah, it's time.
If we could stand, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the February 12th, 2018 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I currently serve as the chair. Joining me today is Commissioner Bob Archer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Bueller is absent at the time. She is currently sitting in prospective jury duty. We'll see if she joins us later today. Madam Clerk, when we get to item E, if Commissioner Bueller has not yet joined us, I will be asking for a recess just to see if she would be able to join us for those items.
Okay.
But if we could go ahead and start with the first item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions regarding the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve.
I guess then I'll second. All in favor say aye. All opposed passes 2-0, with Commissioner Bueller being absent. Next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
There is vouchers that total $1,323,162.32. The highlights of the vouchers are really 3 items. The first is payroll of $533,188.20. Our holding accounts with the state of Kansas, and which are the motor vehicle funds, is $419,802.70. And then health insurance premiums for our employees of $132,466.24. I did not have any questions regarding the voucher report and would move for its approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. All opposed passes 2-0, with Commissioner Cook motioning and Commissioner Archer seconding.
I always put 201 because it's, so the one is, she's
201.
she's really not here, because, you know, she's not voting, but we're good.
201.
A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move to approve.
All second. All in favor say aye. All opposed passes 201.
It's more fun that way. Item B, planning, number 1, consider approval of the final plat of Kelly subdivision as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Good morning. Barry Beagles, Shawnee County Planning Department. The Kellys own a 15-acre undeveloped tract of land on the south side of 62nd Street and East Indian Hills Road. It is their desire to subdivide the tract into 2 lots, one of which would be compliant with the plat exemption criteria. The other would be less than meeting the required minimum frontage requirement. Thus, a plat of subdivision is required. This request did appear before the Planning Commission on January 8th and was unanimously recommended for approval, and it appears before you today for acceptance of public dedications.
Okay. Barry, I just had some questions regarding this subdivision. I understand that the Kellys, as you indicated, this is a 15.37 acre lot. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And there's nothing currently on this 15 acres.
Correct.
And the Kellys wish to divide that into 2 different parcels so they could build 2 single houses on it.
Correct.
Now, the reason why this is coming to us as a single family or a single house subdivision is because there's not 200 feet of frontage road.
Correct.
But there's 115 feet of frontage road, right?
And that's the parcel that is sought to be platted.
Okay.
The parcel with less than 200 feet of frontage is the one that is the subject of the plat, which is the 1-lot subdivision.
Okay. So one does have 200 feet, but the other one did not.
Correct.
Okay. And so the one that did not, it comes back into a long flag area and then into a wider area, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
The cost of going through is noted in here that this would have cost approximately, platting was $3,000 and a drainage report of $1,500.
I think that's what was stated at the Planning Commission.
And wouldn't the homeowner also have additional cost with the engineering report or surveys, or is that included in?
I think the $1,500 inclusive of that drainage report.
Okay. Why didn't we ask the Kellys if they could apply for a variance? I mean, I understand that 200 feet is our frontage requirement, but this comes back into a driveway and then an open area. Why would we have not asked for a variance as opposed to a single-house subdivision?
Okay, good question. The Shawnee County subdivision regulations provides plat exemption criteria, essentially two things. One is if land is divided to support an agricultural use, it is considered exempt, so that kind of land transfer would be exempt. The second type of transfer or division that would be exempt is division of land for residential purposes, provided that it conforms to a minimum of 3 acres and 200 feet of frontage. The only mechanism which is available to make a compliant parcel that has less than 3 acres and/or less than 200 feet of frontage then is a plat of subdivision.
Okay. So they could not have applied for a variance.
Not under the subdivision regulations, that's correct.
Commissioner Archer, do you have questions?
No, I don't.
Given this, is there anybody wishing to speak on this item? I'll move to approve the Kelly subdivision.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 201. Our next item.
Item C, appraiser. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-57-2018 with Surdex in conjunction with Douglas County, Jefferson County, and the City of Topeka for digital color orthophotography at the cost to Shawnee County of $19,385 with funding from the Land Records Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lee Allen, GIS Coordinator. This is an item specific to GIS. This is our, what you have before you is a contract for our aerial photography collected in 2018. This is our 5th project where we've been able to collaborate with Jefferson County and Douglas County in order to save money. Without collaboration, the cost would have been about $51,000 just for Shawnee County, and with collaboration, we save about 27% over the area. So the total cost for Shawnee County would be $38,770, and we are doing our traditional split with the City of Topeka, where we each pay 50%, and the total comes out to $19,385.
Okay. Any questions regarding this item?
I'll move to approve.
All second. Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 201.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to advertise and hire up to 15 intermittent summer staff employees with a maximum expenditure of $164,964.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is our annual request to advertise and try to fill intermittent positions for summer helpers throughout the construction season. These are the positions that we fill to do jobs that can be done by, I guess, non-full-time staff, and we can better utilize our full-time staff on other positions that require a little bit more skill and technical ability. These positions have all been funded in our 2018 budget, so it's our request that we be able to advertise and see if we can fill them. Any questions? I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions regarding this?
No, this is standard. This is what
This
we've
is-
done for years, isn't it?
Correct. Yes, it is.
Okay, good. I'll move to approve the request.
All second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 201 with Commissioner Archer making the motion, Commissioner Cook seconding. Next item.
Item D2, consider approval of request to award bid to the Tire Cutters, Inc. of Seneca, Kansas for processing and recycling of used tires collected by the department at a unit price of $110 per ton from the Solid Waste Recycling Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Blanc again, Public Works and Solid Waste. All throughout the year, there may be abandoned tires along county roadways. We will go and pick them up and store them, and then when we get a certain amount, we will call in a company to come take them away and recycle or process them. We went out for bids for this service once again after we've had a contract for many years. We went out for bid again just recently, and the low bid to process our used tires came in from, as I mentioned, Tire Cutters out of Seneca. They have been our previous processing company, and so we would recommend that this contract be awarded to them. And this kind of segues into, we also will be having a tire amnesty event coming up in April, and they will process all those tires that we collect during that event. So, any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. And this would be funded through our solid waste department, again, which is non-tax funded.
Okay. Any questions regarding this item?
No.
All right. Welcome.
Good morning.
I'll move to approve.
All second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
We would note that Commissioner Bueller has joined us for the record. Our next item.
Item E, Commission Number 1, reflect that Commissioner Bueller has reappointed Toby McCullough to the 3rd Judicial Nominating Commission for a term beginning March 5th, 2018, and ending March 7th, 2022.
I appreciate Toby being willing to serve. I would move for that appointment. I guess if we need to make a formal motion.
All second, just for formality. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0 with Commissioner Bueller motioning and Commissioner Cook seconding. Our next item.
Item E2, consideration and discussion of reappointment of an at-large position on the Shawnee County Planning Commission.
Commissioners, this is an item that has been requested for us to address. The Planning Commission currently has an at-large member, which is currently filled by Mr. Brian Jakes. Mr. Jakes has served at least, this is his second term.
7 years.
So his term actually expired December the 31st, and so at this time, we need to either consider reappointing Mr. Jakes to the Planning Commission or consider appointing another individual to fill that at-large position. Commissioner Archer, do you have thoughts or input on this?
Yeah, I'm opposed to the reappointment. The incumbent was originally appointed in July of 2010. He was reappointed in January of 2011, reappointed again in January of 2015, and has served on the Planning Commission almost 8 years. And if he's reappointed, it'll be almost 11 years. And so I think it's time for some new young leadership on the Planning Commission. So I won't be supporting the reappointment of the incumbent.
Commissioner Bueller, do you have any thoughts or
I
considerations?
know that the Planning Commission right now is reviewing the comprehensive plan, and so we've had a number of new members on that Planning Commission, and I guess I might ask Barry when you think those conversations at the Planning Commission will be finished.
Well, since December of last year, the Planning Commission has engaged the 8 pages of questions that was brought forward by the County Commission concerning the comprehensive plan, and they've been diligent in their process of going through that. Each member of the Planning Commission has taken on a chapter for review and to bring back a report to the Planning Commission, and then at that meeting, then they would digest and go through page by page, that particular chapter. This process, as you know, has been going on for about 2 years. This task of bringing this back to the Planning Commission has been somewhat daunting given the nature and complexity of the comprehensive plan, and I applaud them, quite honestly, for the work that they have taken on. They've taken the reins of the review quite seriously, and they are, I think, making excellent progress in going through and addressing each of the questions that the County Commission has asked. The problem that I have or would like to suggest to the County Commission is that we've already replaced one member of the Planning Commission with a new member, and I'm going through an orientation with the new member this morning as soon as I get back to the office. The new member will be at an extreme disadvantage with regard to 2 years of history, with regard to the formation of the comprehensive plan, its recommendations, what all the substantive issues are. Brian Jakes has served with distinction on the Planning Commission, has been an admirable individual to serve in that capacity. He did not come on the commission with an agenda, but he has looked at each issue that has come before the Planning Commission fairly. What I would like to recommend is that if there is interest in seeking a replacement for him, that my recommendation would be, and I've conferred with Mr. Jakes about this, that you reappoint him for at least a one-year term. That way, it would allow us, hopefully, the chance and the opportunity to complete the review of the comprehensive plan and return a recommendation to you, the County Commission. At the end of that 1 year, you're free then to either extend his term or to replace him with somebody else for the remainder of the 3-year term. But I would hate to pull another leg out from underneath the Planning Commission by removing yet another member who has been involved in part of this Planning Commission process in the review of the comprehensive plan all along. And so that would be my recommendation and suggestion to the County Commission.
Thank you. Commissioners, I believe that there's a history of the commission allowing new individuals to come on. We've recently changed, as appointments end, bringing new people on adds new perspective, and I think that we've had a history of trying to open this up, and so to widen our base of support so that we get a lot of different viewpoints on the issues. And so I understand, Commissioner Archer, where you're coming from, in that we want to have new visions, new ideas, new leadership, as it may be, to look at the issues before the county, whether it's with the planning, the Expo Center, any of our boards that we do appoint to. At the same time, Commissioner Bueller, I understand your concern in that we're in the middle of a comprehensive plan. The individual that we have has been familiar with the process. If we were to change, we would want somebody who would be able to come up to speed very quickly, be familiar with land issues, developmental issues, and those items. At this time, I would ask the Commission to consider the appointment of Jason Fisher to replace Mr. Brian Jakes. He's an individual who does live in the Silver Lake School District. He serves on the school board, serves on Intergovernmental Council District with you, Commissioner Bueller. We're working on the broadband initiative. He's an attorney working for the Kansas Corporation Commission. He's familiar with land issues and developmental issues, and just consider him as a replacement for Mr. Jakes. As a full disclosure, Mr. Fisher was also my former law partner, but he and I have no business dealings at this time, that partnership having since been dissolved almost 3 years ago.
Yes, and I'll support Mr. Fisher being appointed to the Planning Commission. I think his credentials warrant that, and again, I think a set of fresh eyes would be good. In my view, when we reappoint people 2, 3, 4 times to boards and commissions, we do 2 things. Number 1, we perpetuate the good old boys network. And number 2, we don't allow an opportunity for fresh and young leadership to come on board and take new slots in our community. So I'll support that, Mr. Chair. I think that's a good choice, and I'll second that motion.
I will not be supporting this action. I guess in most often, we open this position up, and we have, when it's an at-large position, and we have people submit their interest in this position, and so we've just chosen someone on this day, the first day that it's on the agenda. So that's the first reason that I would be opposed to this action today. And I don't think I think Mr. Jacks fulfilled the term of one person. That's why he was reappointed 3 times. It was just 2 times officially, I guess. But I don't think there's any harm in seeing to completion the comprehensive plan. And And I've heard from a number of, at least my appointees on the Planning Commission, that it puts them at a disadvantage when we do have somebody, a big turnaround like we've had with Pat Tryon and now with with Brian. So I have some concerns about that. I think it's pushing the comprehensive plan discussion back. If that's the intention, then that's what it will exactly do. And this is in no way any reflection on Mr. Fisher. I know him, but it's, again, to the process and the fact that we didn't open this up. So with that.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to appoint Mr. Jason Fisher to the Planning Commission, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-1, noting the objection or dissent from Commissioner Bueller.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
At this time, if there's any individuals that have business before the commission, now is your opportunity to so address.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz with the Kansas Expo Center, Inspector of Venue Management. I wanted to give you a brief synopsis of Cirque du Soleil that took place, and it's come for some time because we're still settling out the show based on a couple of the situations that happened. But all in all, the success of Cirque du Soleil was extremely great on our end. Cirque du Soleil was very pleased with the turnout and in the way the shows went. We sold over $500,000 in ticket sales. That's over $500,000 in ticket sales revenue. That's over 10,000 tickets sold between 5 shows. So very, very overwhelming success there. Another thing I wanted to touch on in regards to Cirque was the marketing performance for the event. We not only base ourselves and judge ourselves on the way we do marketing from how comprehensive our marketing plan is, but on how well we earn what we call or generate earned media. That is your in-studio segments, your at location segments when they're taking photos or doing a web hit or a television hit at our mural in northern Topeka and Noto. Those types of things. That's how we judge our marketing performance. And we had over $45,000 in earned media advertising to complement our paid media advertising for that show. So something that we're very proud of. And a lot of our advisory board members have heard some of the intimate details of what that marketing plan comprised of and how we got there. So something we were very happy to be able to produce. This past week we finished up the garden show. That went fantastic. Finished up yesterday. Hopefully a lot of you were able to make it out and get some ideas for the backyard. I know my spouse did, and I'll probably be hard at work. Coming up this week is the RV and Sports Show and the Shrine Circus. So the RV and Sports Show begins on Friday and runs through Sunday in Exhibition Hall. And then the Shrine Circus has performances starting Thursday at 6:30, Friday at 7 o'clock, Saturday at 2:30 and 7:30, and Sunday at 12:30 and 5:30. So looking forward to having you all out for that wonderful annual event.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Bueller?
I have no announcement. I am just on a break. I do have to go back, so if we're going to have any executive sessions, I don't know how that's going to work, but I have to go back at 9:30,
Wow.
just a couple minutes,
We'll
so.
get you out of here.
Okay.
Commissioner Archer, anything?
No, not this morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And the Home and Garden Show really was a great event. It was a lot bigger. It just kind of kept going, and there was it was good to see so many exhibitors at the Home and Garden Show, and I would agree with that. I don't have anything else this morning. Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 6, Executive Session.
There is not a need for an executive session, so we are adjourned. You got 8 minutes.
All right.